Hi, I'm Shannon Cross, author of The Path to Joy, 29 Family Strategies for Coping with Mental Illness and Finding Joy Again. Welcome. In the last video, we talked about the stigma around mental illness and how in order to get the help that you need, you may have to get through that stigma and just not allow it to be something that stops you from getting the help that you need as a family. So in this video, we're going to talk about how you actually get the person, the loved one that you're dealing with, or your friend who is having some mental illness issues, how to get them to go to the therapist, to the psychiatrist, to the counselor, whatever it is that you've set up. So one of the most difficult things about dealing with mental illness is that the person needs to do certain things in order to feel better. And those also tend to be the very things that they don't want to do. And so sometimes just getting them to that initial appointment is a real trick. So remember, in the past videos, we've talked about finding the different things you need with your insurance, with psychiatry, with a general doctor or a pediatrician. We've talked about getting over the stigma, and now we're going to talk about what to do after you've made that first appointment. So let's say you find a therapist, a counselor, a psychiatrist, depending on your needs, that will take you. They maybe take your insurance, or maybe you're going to deal with the cash price, whatever that is going to look like for you. It's set. Now you have to deal with the fact that your loved one may not want to go. So there are two ways right now that people are doing appointments, at least in our area of the world. One is virtually. Many are only doing things virtually right now because of COVID-19. We're still dealing with that. But some have walk-in, so you can actually go in to the office and meet with the person. So we've had both between this time. So in March of 2020, my son attempted suicide. And so we have been dealing with the medical community and certainly mental health professionals since that time. So one way to deal with this is to, first of all, make the appointment. Just make it. Be clear that the person may be resistant to the appointment and that you're going to do everything you can to get them there. And I tell them right then that it may be me at the appointment. So when everything happened in our world and we spent 4 days in ICU with our son after an overdose, we started family counseling right away. That just immediately, there were psychiatrists at the hospital to help us. It was kind of ironic. I had been trying to get someone to help me. I'd been trying to find someone who was taking patients, and I couldn't. And now finally we'd had this horrible incident happen, and now we were getting way more help even than we needed. So there were psychiatrists, and then we also got family counselors. So I just let them know that my son may be at the appointment, and it may be me, or it may be me and my husband, or it may be me and my husband and my daughter, depending on what was going on. We were trying to get help for our son, but we also knew that sometimes he wasn't going to go. So one of the ways you can deal with this is to bring it up and just tell the person when the appointment is. You're just going to say something like, we have a therapist appointment next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Your loved one may say all kinds of things. I'm not going, that's stupid, I don't need that. Whatever their things are, that's fine. Stay neutral in yourself and just let it go. In fact, completely drop it. If there's a way to do it and then leave the room, or be washing the dishes, take the things out of the oven, set the table, just move on. So you don't want to make it into a big deal, like, yes, you are going. As soon as you get into that resistance area, that struggle, now we've got real trouble. So sometimes you do this for a friend, sometimes you do this for, say, your dad or your mom or an aunt. You're just going to mention, I made an appointment and it's Tuesday at 3 o'clock. And then move on. Then make sure that as the days get closer, you remind them. So every once in a while, throw it in, hey, that's right, we have that appointment on Tuesday at 3 o'clock, and just move on. Same thing, we're not going to get into a big fight about this. You don't need to tell me the 10 reasons why you don't need therapy. It's Tuesday, it's 3 o'clock. The day before the appointment, you're going to say, hey, remember we have that appointment tomorrow at 3. So I'll pick you up if it's something you're going to go to and actually go to their building, or I'll be home at X time so that we can get on the link, or I'm going to come over to your house at 2:45 so that we make sure that the link's going to work for the 3 o'clock. And you just keep putting it out there that we are doing this and that you are totally neutral about it. Even though it's very, very hard, be prepared for that, because you're going to feel really nervous, like what if they won't go? A couple, 3 times, I have gone to my son's appointments. It really was me. He would have an excuse, or he would have a reason why he couldn't go, and so I went to the appointment. And actually, that's a great thing for you, because as you know from my book, The Path to Joy, the whole point of my book is supporting the families going through this, as well as the person with mental illness. So you need it. And especially if you have worked for a week to try to get them to come and now they won't come, this is a great opportunity for you to have someone to talk to. They may also have ideas for you and ways to help your loved one. So don't be afraid to take that appointment. If it turns out that your child can't use it, maybe you and your husband can use it, maybe one of your other children. If your dad won't go and your mom is struggling with him, let your mom go to that appointment. So it doesn't have to be a big deal to the person. The other piece of this, though, is you're going to make another appointment. So whether or not that loved one with mental illness goes to that appointment or not, you're going to make another appointment while you're there. It could be in 2 weeks, it could be in a month, it could be next week, depending. And you're going to follow the same process. Mention it. Hey, next Tuesday, we've got an appointment. And then just keep that neutral spirit, and eventually your loved one, hopefully, will go with you. So don't give up on therapy. Don't give up on finding a therapist, and don't give up on getting the therapy that your loved one needs. Remember, the worst thing that can happen if they get the therapy and they didn't need it is they have some coping skills and they have somebody to talk to. If it turns out they did need it, you could be on a path that is going to be very, very difficult. And I hope that you never have to spend time in ICU or dealing with the aftermath of a suicide attempt. So I just want to remind you, my website is CHANENCROSS.com, Shannon Cross. Remember, I'm Shannon with a C. And if you need help or a loved one needs help, don't forget about the suicide hotline, 1-800-273-TALK. And I hope that you find your path to joy.